You know, every time I'm just amazed how well we've come on, because it's not easy sailing those boats out around there, and particularly Warren, you know, he's sailing like he's been sailing for 20 years, these little things. So anyway, well done everyone, you're all learning well. Catering today, we've got brownies and someone else, Roscoe's got something, haven't you, Roscoe? What is it, mate? Floss, fairy floss.
No, slice.
Oh, slice, sorry, slice. What's it? So this morning, I'd like to talk about the basic rules. Most of you know them, but we'll just go over them again. You may pick up something here that you didn't quite understand, or you may be able to give some feedback. But the basic rules, first of all, you've got to know them so that you can avoid collisions. So each and every one of us here really must be dedicated to learning the basic rules and knowing them pretty well. Most of the aggro in this sport comes from collisions. And most of the collisions, and we've spoken about this before, but most of the collisions come from not knowing the rules. And the second reason is you know the rules, but your boat handling's not up to, you're not up to speed with your boat handling. So you know the rules, but you don't know how to avoid, or you're not steering and avoiding well. So they're the two things that we really want to focus on. And when you go out and do your practice, the first practice session, get your boat handling skills going. You know, sail around those marks. Try dodging other boats. But you need to do all that early. So there's two things that make the sport a lot more fun. If you know your rules and you know how to handle your boat. You know how, if you're going to duck, if you're going to give away, you duck early. You don't leave it to the last moment. You can see everything happens, most of the collisions are happening because everyone waits till the last moment. So let's go over the basic rules. First of all, we must avoid collisions. There is a rule there that says, number one rule is you've got to avoid collisions. So if you don't avoid a collision, you're actually making an infringement. Now, the first one is on opposite tacks, port tack keeps clear. Port tack's got to give way. So for the beginners like Marco, you know, what's a tack? So as we've said before, when we're sailing, we've either got the sails out one side or the other side. And whenever we're going somewhere, we're on a tack somewhere. We're heading up towards the wind on a tack like that, or we're coming downwind and we've got a tack. Has anyone got a good definition of a tack? It's a bit confusing because sometimes we say, okay, we're going to windwards, we're tacking. So I was thinking about it this morning, I think, well, if you're on a tack, it's when the sail's got pressure on it and it's out one side of the boat or the other. That's when you're on a tack. So you could be there, you could be there, or you could be there. You know, each point of sailing, you're on a tack. I think we're going to have to think of a definition of a tack is the sail's out one side of the boat and it's got wind in it. Wind pressure on it. You okay with that? Because it can get confusing, you know. We say we're tacking upwind, we're tacking going about. Okay, so on opposite tacks, port boat's got to give way. So here we go, we're going upwind. Pretty basic stuff, but which boat's on starboard tack? 5-5. Now, Marco, it's on starboard tack because the wind's coming across the starboard side of the boat, the right-hand side of the boat. On this one's on port tack, the wind's coming across the port side of the boat. So we're all okay with that? So if we're going downwind like that, we've got the wind behind us, 5-5's on starboard tack. Wind's coming across, there's the wind here, wind's coming across the starboard side of the boat. Port tack, wind's coming across the port side of the boat. So if these boats are on converging courses, 5-5 calls 4-4s. He says 4-4, I'm on starboard, keep clear. Okay with that, Basil? So the next rule is when you're on the same tack, these boats are on the same tack, booms out on the same side, out the same side of the boat. Windward boat keeps clear. And that's got variations, and the biggest variation is this one. This is where most people get caught out, is that they're not paying attention when they're on the run what tack they're on compared to a boat that's coming upwind. So in this case, 5.5, what tack's he on? What's 5.5 on, Marco? Port? Yep, he's on port. And what tack's this one on? Yeah, wind's coming across the starboard side of the boat. So who's got right away there? 4.4. And that's because port and starboard, in the hierarchy, port and starboard comes first before weather boat keep clear, right? He's a weather boat, but he's on starboard, this guy's on port. Do you get that one? This is the one that most people trip up on. Took me quite a long time to really start to think about what tack am I on the run. I used to get up that windward mark, I'd be exhausted, and I'd come down on the run and probably didn't pay too much attention to what tack I was on, particularly the boats coming upwind. So that's the one that I ask you to really concentrate on as you're learning, as you're working your way around the course. Keep saying to yourself, what tack am I on? Even if there's no boats around you, just come around and say, am I particularly coming downwind? Am I on starboard or am I on port? Okay, so there's that scenario. So if we go the other way, this guy's coming across here. Who's got right away there? Well, let's work out what tack are they on. First, what tack's 5.5 on? Wind's coming over the starboard side of the boat. Starboard tack. Starboard tack. Wind's coming over the starboard side of the boat. Starboard tack. Both boats on starboard. Who's got right away? 4.4's windward boat. Windward boat keep clear. On the same tack, windward boat keeps clear. It's easy to understand when you're heading upwind like that, you know. Windward boat keep clear. But when one's coming downwind and the other one's going upwind, that's when it gets tricky, and that's what I ask you to really concentrate on. This is where collisions happen. After this leading boats come around the bottom mark, heading up the course, trailing boats coming down. Normally the trailing boats don't know their rules as well, and wacko. So the other thing we say as we go back to avoiding collisions, 5.5 is an experienced sailor. He'll know that the guys up here aren't as experienced, unless one of them's had a bad start, but generally these guys aren't as experienced. So it's his responsibility as well as this guy is to make sure we avoid collisions. So you hear us talk about this guy here is maybe leading. He has to think about what's happening down the track, and he's probably better to go out a bit further and come around the other boats. He could go across there and call weather boat keep clear. There's a chance that 44 won't know what he's talking about. He'll keep saying, weather boat keep clear, weather boat keep clear, weather boat keep clear. The guy's like, what are you talking about? Because he hasn't learnt the rules properly yet. So it's most important that 44 studies the rules, watches his boat when he's out there, keeps telling himself what tack he's on. Most important for the experienced guys to go around the racetrack and avoiding these sorts of things, knowing where things go wrong. We know where things go wrong: top mark, bottom mark, and windward and leeward coming up and down. That's where most of the aggro starts. Next one, on the same tack, a stern boat keeps clear of boat ahead. I reckon this is a pretty easy one to understand why this one's there, because you don't have eyes in the back of your head, so you don't know what this guy's doing. But this guy's looking forward, so he's got more control. He's got more vision of what's going on. So this one is on the same tack, a stern's keep clear of ahead, and you'd say, well, that's pretty easy. But that rule expands a little bit into overtaking boat keep clear. So you just can't whack up the back of someone. It's important to know that. You come around marks, you've got a bit of extra speed. You've got to be careful that you don't. It happens a lot around the bottom mark. You come around that bottom mark, you get a bit of a gust of breeze, or as you come on the breeze, you get a bit more speed than the guy in front of you. You're in the wrong if you do that. Overtaking boat, keep clear. Yes, Gary?
When does overtaking boat, keep clear turn into 55, get up, get up?
Well, once you've established an overlap. You've given this bloke room so that you can manoeuvre and come up beside him. You haven't come straight up like that. Okay, next one. Stay clear while tacking. So as soon as you go head to wind, you're tacking like that onto this other tack. As soon as you're in head to wind, you've got no rights. Now that's simple logic. I think about these rules and say, where'd it come from? You've got no rights because you can't be on one tack, you're not on one tack or the other. So you can't say I'm on port, the other guy can't, you can't say I'm on starboard tack, I've got rights. And the rights really come, you know, the basic rights come down to what tack you're on. You're not on a tack. So as soon as you're going through your tack, you've got no rights. As soon as you finish your tack, and that's when if you're going upwind, you're in your closed hauled and your sails are full. Pressure's on, you've completed your tack. And that's, you know, that's a fine line, you know, when you tack and you say, oh, I'd finished my tack, you know, I was close hauled. You know, when you're coming up in the zone or you're tacking up near the mark, you know, if you've got to complete your tack, if you completed your tack, you're okay. If you just haven't, you're not okay. So just remember that while you're tacking, you've got no rights, and you've got to stay clear while you're tacking. Right, number 6 is if you change course, you've got to give the other boats room to keep clear. And another one, you'll read the rules, is they use the word opportunity is used. So rule number 6 is if you change course, or you are going to change course, so when you change course, give other boats room to keep clear. So examples of this are, you see this quite a lot, like where the boat keep clear. 5-5's got to give 4-4, he's got to keep clear of 4-4. 4-4 can't just go whack like that. He's got to give opportunity to 5-5 to respond. 5-5 is going to keep sailing his course. If he's close haul, he's going to go up, keep going up there on starboard tack. He's racing, he's going as close to wind as he can, or he may be coming off a bit to get to the mark. Under normal sailing, he's expecting 4-4 to be pretty much doing the same thing. So if 4-4 wants to bring him up, Gary, he's got that overlap, he wants to say, keep up, keep up. He has to tell 5-5 that's what he's doing. He's saying, give me room, keep up 5-5. Can't just go whack like that. Because 5-5 doesn't have to anticipate what 4-4 is going to do. He doesn't know 4-4 is going to do that. It's just sailing their course. So 4-4 has to call up 5-5. He has to say, get up 5-5, keep up 5-5. And that's what happens if you look at the starting line. If you're all coming along the starting line like so, you know, the boats are lined up. This guy can't just go whack like that. That's why you'll see when in the championships, most of the boats line up in the starting line like that. The boat down here, he may call 4-4 up, say where the boat keep clear. 4-4 will say to this boat, I've got a boat beside me, I can't move up. He'll say, well, tell 5-5 to go up. So 4-4 will call 5-5. By the time you get up the chain there, nothing's going to happen. They've either all crashed or they're all just sitting there. And that's what happens, because you have to give, each boat has to give opportunity for the other one to get up. He's got to be able to do it. If he's sitting there without any wind, say you're sitting on the line, there's absolutely no breeze, you've got no steerage, nothing, you've got to give the guy opportunity. If you might have a bit of movement and you say get up, you just can't, you've got to give him a chance to get up. Under normal seamanship sailing skills, average skills. That's one of the clauses somewhere I read, it's about average sailing skills. Okay, now the last one is at a mark, give room to inside boats. So It's the basic rule. We know there's a 4-boat zone rule, which we'll get onto when we do more rules. Let's get out in the water and do some practice our boat handling, go around the marks.